Earth, and it would be better if there were none.
That's dark.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
very
like,
dark.
hey, buddy, you can start with yourself.
Yeah, no,
If you really want to, make a difference, how about
Yeah.
take your own advice here. Um, but that's like a crazy viewpoint. That's like literally saying let's genocide humanity.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? How can you say that with a straight face? That sounds like total madness. Um, but people like I said, in the limit of environmentalism, it sort of becomes like an ingrown toenail.
Mm.
It's sort of like, yeah, toenail's fine, but not if it's like warped and ingrown. It's just gone too far. Um, Humanity's not a blight on the face of the earth, and frankly, even with climate change, life on Earth will still continue. I mean, the calamities that Earth has suffered, where life continued afterwards, like gigantic meteorite impacts, super volcanoes, the continents drifting all over the place. There have been times in Earth's past where it's been like a total snowball, or it's been absolutely sweltering hot, and life. We had many extinction events, but but life continued. But we don't see the dinosaurs now, but they've had a good run for whatever 100+ million years. So even if there's catastrophic climate change on Earth, life continues. It just may not be the life as we know it. It may not be humans. It'll be something else. So what we're talking about with climate change is not a threat to all life on Earth, but really maybe a threat to humans or a dislocation of humans if there's low-lying countries that the water level rises and now they're underwater type of thing.
Even phrasing it as a threat to the continuation of the human race, I think, is pretty extreme. So far, we've seen 1 degree warming with virtually no effect on the human population. Population growth has continued. Models are predicting that we're going to cap out around 10 billion. So, certainly, there are effects from climate change and global warming. Even the sort of worst case scenario of 3 degrees warming, there's just no evidence that it would pose a catastrophic risk to the human race. If you look at the deaths from natural disasters over the last 100 years, you see that because we become so good at mitigating the damage, it's decreased dramatically in terms of lives lost, even though the population has been growing so much. So while climate change is certainly going to be a challenge and will have some influence on the world, it's going to have benefits as well as negatives. And there's just no evidence that it poses a catastrophic risk to the human race. Mankind's very good at dealing with adapting circumstances. We've got extremely powerful global economy, so much productive capability, so much adaptability. We're even thinking about, blocking out the sun to a degree in order to reduce warming. A lot of nations are making reforms going towards carbon neutral. There's carbon capture technology, still in the rudimentary phase, but one possible solution. And it probably won't be that long until we have greener technology that doesn't emit carbon.
Um, so I think one just needs to strike the right balance by saying, like, look, over time we need to move to a sustainable energy economy, and we can't just keep taking billions of tons of carbon from deep underground and putting it in the atmosphere and expect nothing will happen forever.
Yeah.
But we also don't need to be alarmist about it and super negative and massively disrupt people's lifestyles. I mean, I think people can continue to live a normal life.
Yes.
And they shouldn't be guilty about being human or sort of, frankly, having a stake. It's fine.
Yeah, it all, something that strikes me with that agenda as well and people who push it is it also seems like Western countries climbing the ladder and then pulling the ladder up after them, right? So when you have large...
This is 100% the case. You look at the deforestation of Canada and Europe. This was absolutely vital to our economic development, transforming what was wooded lots into farmland, into cities, into industrial areas. And yet, when Brazil tries to do the same thing with the rainforest, this is widely criticized by Western intellectuals who are enjoying the benefits of deforestation here in North America, but wish to deny those benefits to individuals in the third world. Look, we need to reject this notion that the natural state of the earth is some sort of ideal form in any effort by man to ameliorate scarcity by transforming his environment from its natural state into something that better serves his need is somehow immoral. We need to continue transforming the environment into something that better serves man. So there are some worthy elements of environmentalist thought, clean air, clean water, that stuff's all right. But a lot of it too is communists masquerading as environmentalists, using the environmentalist movement as a mechanism to attack capitalism, to promote their own agenda.
Somewhere like India, lots of parts of Africa, and so on. And it's like, okay, the Western nations have gone through this whole process
Sure.
to even get to a stage where you can afford to care about such things. You've got other nations that are developing and they're trying to get up to the level of prosperity that, say, the USA has right now. And you know, you want them to care about the environment, but it's like people are still poor. People are not going to care about the environment until they've got their basic needs met.
Sure.
So there's a part of it where it's this, it's this sort of belief system that I think is very, what's the right term? It's almost like to use a Rob Henderson term, it's like a luxury belief, right? It's like, okay, it's all good for you to view things that way, but if you think about the average person in many parts of the developing world,
I mean, even today, half the world's population is living on, less than $5 a day. So that too is a vital emergency, and in order to get these people to a reasonable standard of living, it's going to require the use of fossil fuels.
You can't afford.
And pair that with the battery, and you've got continuous power from wind and solar. That's actually very competitive, so cost competitive. Actually, one of the nice things about, say, solar battery is you don't need to run high power lines all over the place. You can have some localized solar battery situation on your house or factory building, or you can kind of decentralize the power generation. And I think that's actually better for people to have decentralized power generation, and also decentralized communications. Like a lot of places, they skipped all the sort of phone landline stuff and went to cell phones.
Yes.
In fact, a lot of places in the world have way better cell connectivity than Silicon Valley, which is bizarre.
Yeah.